Welcome everyone, and my name's Tyson Golder, Mayor of Marinara Regional Council, and I'm here today to talk to you about a biosecurity event that we had in Roma. Just firstly, you probably realise that Marinara Regional Council own and run the largest Saleyards in Australia, which is at Roma. And okay, we might go on to the next slide. So the overview of the Saleyards, in order for you to understand the full effects of a standstill order, which is what the exercise is that we did, it's important to understand Roma Saleyards and an overview of the facility. So we'll just briefly go into that. So we're 480 kilometres west of Brisbane. We're NSQA as well as EU accredited Saleyards. Australia's, as we said, Australia's largest cattle sales selling area, 319,000 head for 18-19. But we average about 332,000 head over the last 20 years. And cattle are sourced from Queensland, of course, as well as New South Wales and Northern Territory. And we've even had them from WA. So, you know, depending on market prices and so forth, it's amazing where the cattle come from. Okay, we might move on. So here are just some of the facilities located. We've got 375 selling pens, 5 drafts, 140 receival delivery yards, 33 cable yards. They're the large yards that when cattle come in and they're not ready for sale, they can be put in, as well as the large spelling yards. Bull and stud selling area, 2 weigh bridges, vet crushers, right through to a 3-bay truck wash, which is extremely popular, and a 2-bay seed washdown facility. So we have a large heavy vehicle access for hard stand area, and a truck stop that council has put in the last 3 years, and a refuelling facility. So, thank you. In collaboration with Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, DAF, the standstill exercise objectives were to achieve the following that you can see on the screen, so I won't go through all those, but we might just move on to the next when you're ready. The standstill event was held on the 27th of June 2019 with 37 key stakeholders present to prepare the scenario, which you don't even want to think about, but is the scenario to test the effectiveness of a Roma Saleyards draft livestock standstill procedures. The scenario tested the effectiveness of the Roma Saleyards draft livestock standstill procedures in the event of an emergency animal disease outbreak of foot and mouth disease in Victoria, which was the scenario initiated through a national livestock standstill. Okay, we might move on to some of the outcomes that were achieved from this standstill exercise was discussions regarding potential emergencies, provide a practice run, clear identification of roles and responsibilities, highlighted partnerships and communications channels, and allow for amending existing procedures. Overall, the opportunity was highly beneficial to all participants, having representatives from each of the identified key stakeholders contributed to the overall success of this event. Okay, we might move on. Council is proud to have already established partnership with many of the key industry bodies and agencies. The exercise highlighted these, which further demonstrated the need to continue communication with all the stakeholders. And just watching the group, it was held in our cultural centre and just watching all of the group and the ideas that were fleshed out by all of the stakeholders was really impressive, and it was extremely scary because we don't ever want to think that this would happen, but we need to be prepared for it. And it really fleshed up some other things that we need to be thinking about with this. Okay, we might move on. Thank you. The exercise also highlighted some areas that require some further scrutiny. Some of the discussions that resulted from the standstill exercise included source of feed during the event, long-term effects and recovery of the industry, the ability to deal with and dispose of deceased livestock, and the effects for livestock in transit, which is a big one. And I'd be fairly confident to say whatever goes to our saleyards goes past our saleyards at the same time. So it's a massive undertaking if this did happen. And lastly, Marinara Regional Council would like to acknowledge the valued support from the following who were vital in the success of the standstill exercise: Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, Biosecurity Queensland, Animal Health Australia, ALMA, and also ALPA, as well as Marinara Regional Council facilitators and the Roma Livestock Agents Association. And just on that, the model to run a saleyards, you've got three main groups. You've got council staff running one part of the saleyards, and then the second part of the saleyards is actually contractors which do all the NLIS and actually shift cattle in and out. Then we have separate contractors that actually handle receival of cattle in, and then we also have the Roma Livestock Agents, so they run their businesses in our saleyards as well. So there's many different groups and personalities involved, and to get them all inside in one place to really think about how we're going to deal with this, because very much the saleyards, happens every week on the basis that it's a fairly well-run machine and everyone just does their job. But this exercise of a standstill really had to get everyone to think, of the scenarios and how could we cope with it. And I'd just like to say, if you've got any further questions, happy to answer questions later. And thank you for the opportunity to come and present.